Welcome to Help for Hashimoto's, a podcast for those of you dealing with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, hypothyroidism, and other autoimmune disease. I'm your host, Stephanie Ewalls, a certified nutrition specialist and licensed nutritionist. My goal is to give you hope and help for your Hashimoto's. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not meant to diagnose and treat. Please see your doctor. Hello and welcome to episode 184, Colostrum Benefits for Leaky Gut, Autoimmunity, and Immune Balance. So obviously today we're talking about colostrum. It's nature's first superfood, and it's been around a while in the health and wellness industry, but I hear about it all the time now. And maybe you do too. So what is it? We're going to start here with the basics. Colostrum is the first milk produced by mammals right after birth. So humans and animals that are mammals. So think of it as the nutrient-packed Kickstarter for life, if you will. Whether it's a cow, a goat, or a human, the immune-boosting peptides in colostrum are identical across all mammals. That means bovine colostrum, which is the most widely available, works just as well for humans. It's loaded with antibiotics, growth factors, and special peptides that do wonders for your body. Unlike regular milk, colostrum is a nutritional powerhouse. It has a higher concentration of vitamins like thiamine, riboflavin, B12, vitamin E and D, as well as minerals like calcium, copper, iron, zinc, magnesium, manganese, and phosphorus. And it also has about 20 to 25% of its solids being antibodies like IgG, IgE, IgA, etc. These antibodies fight off harmful bacteria in the gut, which is super important because, let's be honest, the standard American diet leaves most of us with way more bad bacteria than good and potentially a leaky gut. So when the gut bacteria are out of balance, your immune system suffers. This lovely colostrum contains something called lactoferrin, which acts as an antimicrobial and antiviral component. It also helps your immune system reset, which means your body can have a more normal immune reaction to assaults and respond appropriately. It also contains around 7% fat, with components of that being omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. It has something called linoleic acid, short-chain fatty acids, and other fats important for health. So I don't know if you're the science geek that I am, but there's linoleic acid and linolenic acid, and I always get them confused. Linoleic acid, which is in colostrum, is an essential fatty acid the body has to get from the diet because we can't make it on our own. It helps maintain a healthy skin barrier, helps brain function, and it converts into other fatty acids, excuse me, and things like prostaglandins and leukotrienes. So prostaglandins take part in the inflammatory cascade, and leukotrienes are chemicals released by the body to work on inflammation. Having them in colostrum means your body learns to not overreact to inflammation. All right, I paused for a second to clear my throat. I haven't talked yet really today, so that's probably why my voice is acting like this. Anyway, so why would your gut love colostrum? So we know our gut is like the control center for our health, where 80% of our immune system is. And a leaky gut, and this is where the intestinal lining lets toxins and undigested food sneak into your bloodstream, can trigger everything from allergies to autoimmune diseases. Research, including thousands of studies on PubMed, show colostrum that can repair the gut lining. It's got growth factors that heal the tiny villi in your intestines and peptides that balance your immune system so it works normally again. So 80% of chronic disease, from food sensitivities to even Alzheimer's and autism, might be linked to gut issues. When you have leaky gut, it is easier for microbes, pathogens, undigested food, toxins, etc., to get into the bloodstream via the intestinal lining, which can cause your innate immunity to take action. That's how food sensitivities and allergies start, and then it can expand to creating sensitivities to other foods. This is what is called a Th2 type immune response, and this can also cause your one autoimmune disease to turn into 2 or 3 total. So the pro-inflammatory cytokine response is what is at play in autoimmunity, and colostrum helps to calm that pro-inflammatory response. Taking 5 to 10 grams of colostrum powder daily for 6 weeks can seal up leaky gut and get your digestion back on track. So studies on rats showed gut repair in just 6 weeks. So that's pretty cool. And I know we can't always transfer animal studies to humans, but there's a lot of clinical things or clinical outcomes, I guess, from practitioners that are showing that this is very, very helpful. All right, so let's talk about your immune system. You've probably heard about boosting your immune system, especially in the fall or winter, so that you can prevent colds. But here's the thing. If you've got an autoimmune condition or allergies, boosting can make things worse, especially if you have active autoimmunity. Colostrum doesn't just crank up your immune system, it balances it. So those peptides that I talked about that are in colostrum, they regulate the cytokines, those little messengers that tell your immune system what to do. Too many cytokines can cause inflammation, but colostrum keeps them in check, calming things down without shutting your defenses off. Boosting your immune system might look like taking antioxidants or something like that to improve function. In autoimmunity, your immune system is sometimes in overdrive, and we want to regulate it so it works properly and doesn't overreact. This is huge for anyone with allergies or autoimmune diseases like celiac disease, Hashimoto's, or even lupus. It's not about suppressing your immune system like some medications do. It's about resetting it to work the way it's supposed to. What your immune system is doing in autoimmunity is important. Immune system balancing is more important than immune boosting. You don't want to be taking things that boost your immune system when you have active autoimmunity. You want to calm it and help your immune system regulate itself. Conventional medicine, on the other hand, will suppress your immune system with things like steroids, and that might be okay for you, but know that it is a Band-Aid, and while you are on steroids, you can be doing everything to get it to re-regulate. So I hope that makes sense. Colostrum is what starts an infant's immune system, whether it's a human or animal, which is why it is the first 3 days of milk released from the breast. So it kind of makes me wonder if calves are getting colostrum for as popular as it is right now. Are they saving any of it for the cows so that the cows' immune systems are healthy? Naturally, through the aging process, some of our genes may be turned off through things like toxins in some foods we eat, and colostrum can turn those things back on. The genes linking you to autoimmunity are there. They always have been. They always will be. You can't do anything about that. The autoimmunity piece, though, is the weak link in your genes. You have control for the most part over the environmental triggers to autoimmunity, and you can heal your gut. And you may have to do that at least once a year. It's just when you have autoimmunity, it's just something you're always having to work on. So you can use colostrum to reset your immune system, but colostrum is only a Band-Aid if you don't do something about the reason your immune system is freaking out. And honestly, I would say I don't think it's something you need to do daily forever. Maybe while you're doing a gut healing protocol, you could do it. I think that's probably the best option because I really hate to have people taking stuff for long periods of time, and colostrum is not cheap. All right, so what about dairy sensitivities? Should you be taking colostrum from cows if you have a dairy sensitivity? Well, colostrum's peptides can actually reduce allergic reactions by calming down the overactive immune system that causes them. So that's pretty cool. Only about 5% of people might notice a small or a mild detox reaction, kind of like your body flushing out toxins. So if that happens, you just lower the dose, drink plenty of water, and then ease back into it. Most people tolerate it just fine and see huge benefits. So if you have a severe dairy allergy, though, like anaphylactic type, I would not recommend taking colostrum just to be safe. There is also a proline-rich polypeptide spray that you can try that can help prevent an immune response because it, again, downregulates the products of the inflammatory interleukin immune cells that cause Th2 responses. So it normalizes the cytokine response so you don't develop symptoms associated with allergy. So I just want to be clear, this is not medical advice. This is educational only. Discuss with your doctor the use of these things if you have a severe dairy allergy. Allergies are said to be an imbalance of the Th2, Th1, and Th17 immune system responses. And I have discussed these in earlier episodes, probably really early on, especially around thyroid, because there's often a Th1 or a Th2 response in thyroid autoimmunity, or probably in autoimmunity in general. But onward we go. Colostrum is great at healing the gut. So if you can tolerate it, it is a great option. You remove the things causing the leaky gut, take colostrum, and then heal your gut. It is said that this could potentially remove food sensitivities. I've worked on healing my gut without colostrum, and I was able to reintroduce dairy here and there. I do some cheeses, and I've had dairy-based ice cream a couple of times without too much of a reaction. I have had sour cream. I don't have it often, just so that I can avoid the issue with the molecular mimicry and the proteins in dairy versus the proteins in your thyroid. Otherwise, you can give it a try, but I don't always recommend you go full on dairy consumption. If you take colostrum and you do have a reaction, it could be what's called a Herxheimer type reaction, or maybe your body just doesn't like it. You have to play around with it. Drink lots of water so your body can flush out things. Maybe cut back on the amount of colostrum you're taking, or heal your gut without it. There are other ways. It's just said that this is one of the best ways to do it. As with any supplement, quality matters. Third-party testing matters. Cows are often given antibiotics, so you want to be sure the source is clean. You don't want antibiotic residue in your colostrum. That's not going to be any good for your gut. So how do we get started using this? We want to, again, look for high quality, first milking colostrum. That's the stuff collected right after birth. Packed with 3 to 4% peptides. There are plenty of colostrums out there. They don't have that high concentration of peptides. You just have to do a little research. Avoid heavily processed products as they can lose those precious bioactive components. You want to aim for 5 to 10 grams of powder a day for about 6 weeks. And consider a proline-rich peptide spray for an extra boost. You can just Google that, proline-rich peptide spray. I do not have one of those on my dispensary, unfortunately. You just want to make sure the product is tested for antibiotics and free from bovine growth hormones for peace of mind. But as I understand it, the RBGH growth hormone that was used in dairy products is really not used in the US anymore. But there is a product on my dispensary called NuMedica ImmunoG PRP. They're capsules. So that's also an option. So you can get that at fullscript.com/welcome/HFH. And you sign up, you get an automatic 10% discount. When I get the email that you've signed up, I will add 5% more to your discount. So you get a total of 15% off. And clients, as usual, get 20% off. The big picture. So here's the takeaway. Colostrum is like hitting the reset button on your gut and your immune system. It's been used by mammals since life began, probably. It's to jumpstart life, and it can do the same for us adults by turning on genes that repair our gut and sharpen our minds even. So from reducing inflammation to improving digestion and even supporting brain health, colostrum is kind of like the conductor of a health symphony, if you will, harmonizing all the pieces. So you can give it a try. But again, as you know, I don't usually recommend supplements without knowing the full health history. So I'm leaving it up to you. Talk to your doctor. And I have to say that your doctor's not going to really know anything, but you should always consult a medical professional. And see if it transforms your wellness. I have a client currently on it who it doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot for, but she likes taking it, so it is what it is. That is it for today's very short episode. If you loved this, I guess, deep dive into colostrum, share it with a friend. Please leave me a rating and review on Apple Podcasts so that more people find the podcast. And you can go to my website and sign up for my newsletter and get the definitive guide to Hashimoto's. Until next time, stay curious and stay healthy.